Hello and welcome back to the garage. As ever, I am John, and right there is my mate Kieran, and we're from the YouTube channel Mech'It Better. And today we're going to be looking once again at small bike repairs, and specifically, Kieran, we're going to be looking at what?
Those black round rubber things on your wheels, the tyres, and what happens if you're out and about and you get a puncture.
Yeah, we've got the Honda CG125, which has got tubes in the tyres, and we've got the Suzuki Dress 110, which doesn't have tubes in the tyres. That's tubeless tyres, so there's plenty to look at. We'll jump straight into it. Come and have a look.
The repairs that we're looking at today are not intended as a permanent solution, but a kind of get out of trouble so you can either get home or to a garage where a more permanent fix can be applied. So with that in mind, let's take a look at the differences in the tyres that you might have and the tools you need to start the job.
The first thing you're going to need to know then is whether you've got a tube tyre or a tubeless tyre, and it's not always easy to tell. This, for example, has an inner tube in it, but the tyre itself actually says tubeless on it. So the safest thing to do is to check your manual and make sure that you know what your bike should have. Generally speaking though, if it's got spokes, it will be a tube tyre. If it's a cast alloy wheel, it will be tubeless. But please check before you start this job to make sure that you know what you're dealing with. Once we've worked out what sort of wheel and tyre we've got, then we can look at the tools we need to do the job. And in the case of the Honda here, we've got an inner tube, so you could carry something like this, which is a puncture repair kit for tubed motorbikes. Downside to this is you'd have to take apart the wheel at the side of the road, and that's quite complicated, so we're not going to get into that in this video. What we are going to look at instead is this, which is, where's it gone? There you go, slime tube sealant, and it does exactly what it says on the tin. You pop it in the tyre valve and it should, in theory, seal the hole and get you on your way. So that's tube tyres. Let's have a look at tubeless.
In the case of the tubeless tyre, we're going to need a tubeless tyre repair kit, and we'll delve into that in a moment. In either case, we're going to need some means of inflating the tyre once repairs are made. Now we're going to opt for this 12-volt compressor, which gives us a bit more control over the tyre pressure. Alternatively, you can use these small CO2 gas cylinders that at least get some pressure back in the tyre to get you where you need to be.
Moving on to the fun stuff then, we've got a couple of old tyres here. On the left we've got a tube tyre, and on the right we've got what would have been a tubeless tyre, and we're going to basically demonstrate these processes on these tyres. So this one at least is going to get a nice hole drilled in it, so let's crack on with that. First off then, we're going to look at tubed tyres, and Kieran has kindly donated this wheel and tyre to this project. So it's worth mentioning that this is obviously not attached to a bike. I am not a bike, but this repair could be done with this attached to the bike. This is just off for demonstration purposes. Now, don't know if you can see that, but there's a screw in the tyre.
Shouldn't
so
be there.
Stage one is to curse the screw.
Hi!
And stage two is to do the repair. So as I mentioned earlier, we're going to look at some slime for this technique. And the first step to this is to rotate the valve core. That's where you put the air. Can you see that there? So that it is at the top side of the tyre. And the next thing we're going to do is remove the valve core. So we'll move it a little bit closer and have a look at that in detail.
First up, we remove the dust cap. And then we've got an option of the official fancy valve core remover, or the kit for the sludge does come with a similar tool to do the same thing. That slides in the valve and allows us to unwind the core. Do take care when you remove the core, because there could still be pressure in the tyre, which with something so fiddly like that, it could get lost very easily. So take care, pop that somewhere safe, and then we can get on to removing the screw or a fending protrusion from the tyre. Most likely whatever has caused the puncture is not going to be an easy removal, so it might be handy to have something like some pliers so that you can get some good purchase on that cheeky item.
Once you've got the screw or the nail out of the tyre, it's time to start applying some slime, and with the slime came a little plastic tube which we're going to put on to the valve. Once we've done that, it's quite simple. You have to put some slime into the wheel. Now the amount varies depending on the size of the wheel, but realistically on a standard motorbike tyre you're probably going to need the whole bottle, so get it in there. Once we've got the slime in, we need to put the valve core back in. Now you need to do this really carefully, make sure that you're not cross-threading it, and please also don't over-tighten that because you can just damage it. You need to screw that in until it seats and then just nip it up. That should be enough to seal it. And once we've got the valve core back in, we need to put some air in the tyre, so that's what we're going to do now. Now we've got some air in the tyre, all we need to do is put the dust cap back on and rotate the wheel for a little bit. And what that does is it distributes the slime around the inner tube and helps to find the hole which caused the problem in the first place.
Now it obviously is a lot easier with it still being on the bike because you can just spin it away and that's the job done.
Don't forget though, this is only a temporary solution. This is designed only to get you home or to a garage. You still need to do a proper repair job on this, and that might mean replacing the inner tube or doing a proper patch job once you're somewhere warm and dry like the garage. So don't go too far. Yikes. Yeah, that's killed it.
Winter studs.
Don't do this at home, folks. As you can see then, Kieran has got a screw in his tyre. This is the tubeless tyre. So the first thing to decide is whether this is actually possible to repair. As this screw's right in the middle of the tyre, this is fine. If, for example, the screw were in the sidewall of the tyre, which is this section here, you can't repair that. You're realistically going to have to replace the tyre. Also, that includes the thin section either side of the sidewall, so about a thumb's width into the tyre. If the screw is underneath your thumb, then again you can't really repair that. But this central section, you should be fine. So in our case, we've got it here right in the middle. So
lucky for us!
Yeah, that was lucky, wasn't it? So the first thing to do is wrestle with that and get the offending article out of the tyre. And there we go! That's the screw removed. Time to fix it. Earlier on then, we promised you we would see what's in the tubeless tyre repair kit. So here's what's in the tubeless tyre repair kit. There's some pretty lethal looking things actually. We've got this little jobby, which is a reaming tool. So what that is for is reaming out the hole that the screw caused. We've got something else. What we got? This is a little thing for inserting the repair strip, which is this stuff here. All this really is a sort of string with rubber cement. It's very sticky, very gooey, and it just jams the hole and seals it off. And then we've got
more weapons.
Yeah, more weapons. We've got a little one of these knifey little razor things, and that's for cutting off the excess. So we're going to find the hole that Kieran just made in his tyre and do this repair now.
So I'm going to start by preparing the repair strip. Now we want to grab this licorice looking string and feed it through so that we are about halfway on either side, like so. Once that's done, I want to pop it to one side until we get to the next bit. Next on the list is this pointy jabby thing. Now it may be useful to mark the area where you got your puncture before you remove it, so it's easy to find. But what we do with this is press it into the hole and kind of clean it out, just even it all up so that we can get a repair strip in there nice and easy. We return to our prepared little tool with the cord in there, and with a good bit of force I'm going to press that right the way in, but we want to make sure that we leave some remaining on the outside like so, and then it should hopefully be a quick pull and we leave the cord inside. We can then trim off a lot of the excess, leaving a few mil spare before we then go to inflate. We might struggle to put some air in this tyre, but that is your next step. We've got a bit of material left stuck out of the hole that's going to help prevent the repair from getting blown back out. But once we've got some air back in the tyre, that should mean we can get home safe, and then we can sort of think about some other more permanent repairs for the tyre.
Well, there we are. That was how to conduct an emergency puncture repair at the side of the road. Hopefully helpful for you. Anything to add, Kieran?
Yeah, ultimately it's down to how prepared you want to be. Nothing we've shown is particularly expensive or takes up a lot of space to carry, But if you can't be arsed with any of that, just make sure you've got some breakdown cover.
Yeah, top tip from the garage. So that was the last in our little video series for South Yorkshire Safe Roads Partnership. So if you haven't seen the earlier ones, make sure to go back in time and check those out. But if you like this one, remember to like it. You can leave us a comment and we'll get back to you. And you can subscribe to the channel for more content like this. But that's it from us for now, so we'll say goodbye. We'll see you.
Ta-ra.
Ta-ra.